Each morning, real setups are broken down with entry strategies and technical reasoning behind every trade. This is today's best trade setups with Verified Investing.
Welcome to today's top trade setups. My name is Benjamin Poole, head trader here at Verified Investing. The markets over the holiday week were really floaty. If you notice, on Wednesday, we had this little bit of a float up, and then we had a day off on Thursday because of Thanksgiving. And then Friday, we had another little bit of a float up. Today is what's probably considered more of a hangover day. So the markets are trying to decide on which direction then they're going to go. So there's not a lot of movement in the pre-market today. I do have a couple different setups for you. So we're going to go ahead and dive into the charts. Nvidia is selling off a little bit. So I do have a level at $170 that I'm going to go over with a key technical reason. But if that level fails on a 15-minute closing basis, we could get a continued flush out. One of the stocks that we've been following for a little bit of time is, give me a second, my charts. Okay, AMD. It's not really moving today. It got up to $217. I still have a shortable level at $224.07. This is the head and shoulders pattern that we've kind of been monitoring for some time. A retrace to the underbelly of this neckline would be a shortable level for me on more of a swing trade basis. Anytime that you're dealing with a down sloping trend line or a neckline, the beautiful thing is if price action decides it wants to close back inside or back above this upslope or this down sloping trend line, you would just stop out on a daily closing basis. I have mentioned in the past that this isn't technically a valid head and shoulders pattern due to the nature of this down sloping trend line. When we're looking at head and shoulders patterns, we actually want an inclining neckline and that would give a valid head and shoulders pattern. Because this is slightly down sloping, it doesn't give as much merit. However, you still have this beautiful trend line that we're monitoring. So today, if we can get up to $224.07, that is going to be my shortable level. And my next shortable or my long level is $186.65. You have this pivot top. That would be a pretty significant drop on AMD, about a 13% move to the downside. So I don't anticipate that happening today, but that's where I'm monitoring that for a particular swing trade. SMH is another stock that we've been monitoring. We've got this nice parallel channel. As you can see, price has respected the lower end of this parallel channel quite nicely, as well as the upper end of this parallel channel. Notice how price also reflects positively and or negatively inside or the midline of this parallel channel, giving us more significance as far as a parallel channel goes. Now, if what we're going to do is we're going to zoom into the charts a little bit. Notice how we broke down. Finally, we never confirmed. Well, sorry, we confirmed here. We got a retrace to the scene of the crime, dropped a little bit more again. Now we've retested not only once, but twice to this upsloping trend line, to the underbelly of this upsloping trend, parallel channel. This is my swing trade short level. If price action gets back inside of this parallel channel, price could likely want to head back up to about $375. Taking out this pivot top or the all-time high, but it's likely to get rejected at the midline again at 375. If price action decides it wants to continue down to the downside, my first long level on the SMH is $340.01. That's a gap that was created on Tuesday from the price action. Then we had this big move up on Wednesday and then again on Friday. So when price action gets back into this level, this gap fill should be pretty significant as far as support goes. If price breaks below there, your next gap in the charts is $326.13. From the upper end of this parallel channel, that's a nice 7% move to the downside. Not likely to happen today. However, it is still something that I'm keeping on the radar. AVGO is another stock that we've monitored for quite some time. With the AVGO chart, I still see potential, a couple more up days. They've still got the news on what's going on with the Meta and Google AI chips. So there still could be some additional buyers who want to step up and bid this up to the upside. My first shortable level is, again, $420. And this is a great level. Not only do you have this upsloping trend line that connects this pivot top here, secondary pivot top, it would be a pierce of this trend line. However, you've got this beautiful hidden resistance level that connects the lows from the April lows Price consolidated underneath it, finally got above, got a little bit of support, and now we're back underneath it. If price action can get back to $420.77 or get up to that level, this would be where I would likely to take profits. You got to think of people who are in this stock at $400 aren't probably super happy with taking the profits right now. They think, okay, so now that we've already busted above the $400 level, where is the next potential level for me to short? It would be 410. And then after that, 420. So I want to wait for a little bit more of an extended move to the upside before I decide to enter a short. But overall, I still like the setup on AVGO, and I do anticipate them profit takers coming in and driving the price down pretty significantly. This would be more of a day and a swing trade. So if I was going to do a day trade, it would probably be about a 1/5 position, knowing that it could continue higher. However, a swing trade, I would be looking at a 1 to 2% of my portfolio, just in case it wants to push up to, who knows, $500. I don't think it's going to happen, but it could. SYM is another stock that we've been monitoring. First shortable level is $90.27. This is where it got to in the pre-market one day. So when price action gets back up above the $90 level, this is where I would short it. And then if price consolidates right underneath it, this shortable level is off of the table. What I would be looking for is price to get pretty close to the $100 even number. And that's where people are likely to start taking profits. And as soon as we start to get a pretty big sell-off, we could come back down to $82.09. This is a previous pivot top. But first, we need to get through this $90 level, do some consolidation, and then price action can head a little bit higher. We want that so that way we can take advantage of the people who are going to take profits and drive this price to the downside. APP is one that we were looking at yesterday. What I love about APP is you've got this beautiful trend line. So I've connected this pivot top from the all-time highs to the secondary pivot from the 12th or 10th of November, created this nice down-sloping trend line. If we get up to $625.18, this is my first shortable level. You've got this green bar candle. This was the opening price of the green bar candle. Price got below that level, consolidated right above it, and then broke down. So when price action gets back into this level, then there should be some profit takers willing to drive the price down on APP. This is more of a swing trade level. The nice thing is this is the third hit of this down-sloping trend line, which favors a pretty significant move to the downside. You could probably take about 10-15% off of this if we can get up to $625.18. Okay, now let's go ahead and go into Nvidia. Nvidia is still staying weak compared to some of the other ones. From the lows, we did get a nice 7.5% bounce and get a little bit of a pullback. Now we're continuing to drop a little bit in the pre-market. We're down to $175. Nvidia is continuing to give up all of its gains from the $210 or $212 level. And I still see potential more downside in Nvidia. The first long level I have, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom into the charts real quick. My first long level is $169.55. This $177.82 level was a price action that I had on Friday, saying that if price could get into this level, you're still likely to get a little bit of a bounce. But as you can see, price is now below that. So now my next long level is $169.55 on Nvidia. If we start closing below this low pivot on a 15-minute closing basis, you're likely to head even lower, probably getting down to this $166 level, or even this low pivot area. This was a previous gap fill in the charts right here at $164.08. So that is a pretty significant move to the downside on Nvidia if it wants to continue to drop. It'd be a nice 3.5% or about a 3% move to the downside. This is why I would stop out on a 15-minute closing basis below this $169.55 level, just because I would love to pick it up at a lower price, knowing that, look at this, you still have potential further downside to go. You have this previous pivot top, which was an all-time high. Look at how price consolidated underneath it, then got above it, got some support, and so it could head down to $152.89. All right, Robinhood is another stock that we've been monitoring as well. It's staying weak on the day. I was hoping on Friday that it was going to get to this $132.55 level. It didn't. So now that price action has been rejected prior to that that pivot top or this gap fill. I'm looking at $115.57. This is a decent gap that was in the charts from Tuesday's close to Wednesday's open. And then the move up was about a 12.5% move. When price action gets into this level, people are going to be willing to pick this up for a long, knowing that they had the potential to take 12% profits. So these people are probably wanting to get into Robinhood, thinking that now the next level could get up to $132. And so this is why $115.57 is my level. Now, the last stock that I have is SNPS. It's really the only stock that I'm seeing that's making moves either to the upside or the downside. And so I do have a shortable level on this chart for you. SNPS, it got almost up to this gap fill at $465.41. This is my first shortable level. This is a more aggressive level. So if anybody's interested in getting in, again, first aggressive short level is $465.41 with the secondary short level at $484.41. That's almost a $20 move to the upside. And that's what can happen in a stock like SNPS, even though it is a $465 stock. This is a wide range red bar candle that price consolidated inside of, got rejected. That means there's still a lot of sellers inside of this candle. So if we can make one push up to $484.41, this is where I'm taking this for a short trade. I would look to short it here at $465 just because of this gap fill. But again, on a 15-minute closing basis, I would go ahead and stop out of that trade. Thank you so much for watching. Gareth Soloway is going to be going live in my trading game plan. He's going to talk about the crypto markets and how volatile they are. Bitcoin had a huge drop in the overnight trading, and now is, I think, continuing to drop a little bit more. You guys don't want to miss that. If you guys are enjoying this, please make sure you're liking, you're following, you're subscribing, sharing with your friends so that way they can get the alpha that we provide as well. And with that, we'll see you guys next time in the charts. You guys have a great rest of your day and take care.